The current 7-day daily average of cases is about 118,500 cases per day, which represents an increase of about 37% over the previous week. The 7-day average of hospital admissions is about 7,400 cases per day, also an increase of about 16% over the previous week. And the 7-day average of daily deaths are at about 1,100 per day, which is an increase of about 28% over the prior week. Although we don't have all the answers on the Omicron variant, initial data suggests that COVID-19 boosters help to bolster protection against Omicron. And we should remember that still over 99% of cases in this country right now are caused by the Delta variant, which is driving increases in cases and hospitalizations.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's woes deepened Friday after an opinion poll found his popularity has fallen to its lowest level since he took over as the country's leader. Johnson has faced a barrage of criticism since a video emerged showing his staff laughing and joking about a 2020 Downing Street party, while the rest of the country endured strict Christmas lockdown measures. Downing Street had denied a party took place. Johnson told Parliament on Wednesday that he had been assured COVID rules were not broken and there had been no party. However, broadcasters ITV and the BBC then reported that Johnson's most senior communications advisor, Jack Doyle, had made a speech and handed out awards as part of a joke ceremony at the alleged party on December 18 last year. Doyle did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Opposition parties have accused Johnson of lying and being unfit for office, and some have called on him to resign. But he may also be facing challenges within his own party too over the affair. At the same time, Johnson's newly imposed COVID restrictions are also angering the Libertarian wing of his Conservatives. Dozens of Conservative lawmakers are planning to oppose the new rules in a vote in Parliament.
Prosecutors in the Ghislaine Maxwell sex abuse trial rested their case on Friday after a fourth accuser testified that the British socialite and Jeffrey Epstein both touched her when she was 16 years old. Annie Farmer, now 42, said she felt, quote, frozen when Epstein crawled into bed with her at his New Mexico ranch and recalled thinking, quote, I just need to get through this. Farmer, who believed Epstein would help pay for her college education, also said she agreed to receive a massage from Maxwell at the ranch, during which Maxwell touched her breasts and said she felt Epstein was watching nearby, though she could not see him. Under cross-examination, Maxwell's attorney asked Farmer if her account of the New Mexico trip was a, quote, reconstructed memory. Farmer said she had conducted internet searches and had spoken with friends about other events that happened around the time of her trip to refresh her memory on exactly when the trip took place. Maxwell's attorneys have argued that in the decades since the alleged abuse occurred, the accuser's memories have been corrupted. 3 other women have testified that Maxwell encouraged them to give Epstein massages that would escalate into sexual encounters. The 59-year-old faces 8 counts of sex trafficking and other charges for her alleged role in recruiting and grooming 4 teenagers for Epstein to abuse between 1994 and 2004. She has pleaded not guilty.
The U.S. Supreme Court on Friday ruled that Texas abortion providers can sue the state over its abortion ban, yet kept the law in effect for now. The Texas measure, which is the most restrictive abortion law in the nation, bans abortions at around 6 weeks, a point in time when many women do not yet realize they are pregnant, and has no exception for pregnancies resulting from rape or incest. It also enables private citizens to sue anyone who performs or assists a woman in getting an abortion after cardiac activity is detected in the embryo. Individuals can then be awarded a minimum of $10,000 for bringing successful lawsuits under the law. That feature made it more difficult to directly sue the state to challenge the law's legality, helping shield the measure from being immediately blocked. Chief Justice John Roberts criticized the Texas law as specifically designed to nullify the Supreme Court's precedents on abortion, writing, quote, "It is the role of the Supreme Court in our constitutional system that is at stake." Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor, while agreeing with the court's decision to allow the challenge, wrote a partial dissent blasting her colleagues for failing to, quote, put an end to this madness, and warning that other states could try to copy Texas's enforcement loophole. But Friday's 8-1 ruling by the Supreme Court leaves the Republican-backed measure hanging in the balance. The justices lifted a block on lower court proceedings, likely paving the way for a federal judge to formally block the law. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has yet to decide another major abortion rights case from Mississippi that could lead to the overturning of the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that legalized the procedure nationwide.
And one real quick one on the Jussie Smollett verdict. Both the president and vice president tweeted at the time of that attack. The president tweeted, "What happened to Jussie Smollett must never be tolerated in this country. We're with you, Jussie." The vice president called it an attempted modern-day lynching. Since the guilty verdict, are there any lessons learned here on rushing to judgment when a crime is alleged?
I think there are lessons learned perhaps for everybody who commented at the time, including former President Trump. I wish April Ryan was here because I think she asked him the question. Do I see her somewhere or no? Okay. She just left, where he said, "I can tell you that it's horrible. It's doesn't get worse," in response to her question about about Jussie Smollett at the time. I would say that we respect the jury's decision. Lying to the police, particularly about something as heinous as a hate crime, is shameful. Instances of that need to be investigated fully, and those found guilty need to be punished. And false accusations divert valuable police resources away from important investigations. They make it harder for real victims to come forward and be believed. You know, if you look back at the time, it's also true and important to note that accusations of hate crime should be taken seriously, and they need to be fully investigated. But that's where everybody was looking at it at the time. But certainly knowing what we know now, it's important to also note the danger of lying to police and lying about hate crimes and the fact that it diverts important resources.